Welcome students. Welcome to News Biology, and in this video I am going to talk about the structure of the plasma membrane. Okay. In the previous video we have learned about the whereabout of the cell wall and the intussusception, positional growth of the cell wall, as well as the ultrastructure and the function of the cell wall. But in this video I am going to talk about the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. So what is the cell membrane actually? What is the structure? The cell membrane mainly is a selective permeable layer or the protective covering which is present after the cell wall in case of plant cell. But in case of animal cell, there is no cell wall. So there is only cell membrane. And in case of plant, there is cell wall and also the cell membrane. Okay. So we have to know the structure of the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane protect the entire cell from the outer environment. Okay. Actually, if I talk about the cell wall, actually cell wall is a barrier to environmental molecule, or they are the hazardous molecule, or they are the problematic molecule, as well as the cell does not need the molecule. So cell wall is a barrier actually to harmful molecules. But in case of plasma membrane, they are not the barrier, they are the selectively barrier. They are the selective barrier. So what is the selective barrier actually? Selective barrier means so assume that this is a molecule, this is also a molecule. Okay. This molecule is needed by the cell and this molecule is not needed by the cell. Okay. But if you talk about the size of these two molecules, this molecule is smaller. This molecule is smaller if I compared with this type of molecule, that is, this is a bigger molecule. So the plasma membrane have some pores, okay, to enter. This molecule cannot enter, as like this will very tiny that it can pass through this membrane, but this molecule is big. So the membrane structure become folded and this molecule can enter by the bulging. Okay. The membrane will be facilitated according to the structure of the molecule which is need by the cell and certain need by the cell, and this molecule can get entry, or they have a OK signal to pass the membrane into the cell. So they are the selectively permeable. Some molecules actually selectively permeable means some molecules which are needed by the cell can uptake that type of molecules by the help of the cell membrane. But if any molecules does not need by the cell, their structure can be a large or small, that doesn't matter. The structure or the sizes does not matter. This will be conducted by the certain needs of the cell. Okay. So this is known as the selectively permeable. So this is the first point. Sorry, selectively permeable. But the plasma membrane can also be semi-permeable. Semi-permeable means larger molecule than the pore cannot pass through the cell membrane, and the smaller molecule which is comparatively small with the pore of the membrane, they can pass. Okay, so this is the second character. They can also be the semi-permeable. If we extract that membrane outside of the cell or outside of its own environment, okay, so this is the second character. Third character is the cell membrane is amphipathic. They are amphipathic. Actually, the cell membrane was discovered by the Nageli, but the several experiment was done by various scientists. Like this cell membrane is amphipathic. This was first discovered by a scientist name is Langmuir. The name was Langmuir. Langmuir started an experiment and concluded that this is one unit. This is a monounit of a plasma membrane. The structure of the plasma membrane actually composed of phospholipid and the proteins. Okay, but when Langmuir discovered the structure, he was not given any type of information regarding the protein molecules, but he deciphered that the cell membrane as a layer of phospholipid, that is phosphate is connected with the molecule, is the glycerol molecule, and there is two chains. This is the two chains of lipids or the fatty acid. Two chains of fatty acid, or this is the phospholipid layer. This is the phospholipid entire layer, and this is the glycerol connecting with the phosphate. Okay, but the amphipathic means the head. This is the head part, and let's assume this is the tail part. The head part is hydrophilic, that's it can facilitate water to this region. They are hydrophilic. And this region cannot facilitate the water. That is, this portion or the fatty acid chains are hydrophobic. Hydrophobic. Or this layer is non-polar. This layer is non-polar. And this layer is polar. Or this portion is polar. Okay. So this is the structure of the amphipathic molecules. The phospholipid layer, that is, this layer is phosphate with glycerol, and this tail is fatty acid chains. Okay, water or a water soluble molecule cannot pass through it. So this is the amphipathic structure. And cell membrane also contains some protein. Cell membrane also contains some proteins which can facilitate the outer molecules or the water soluble molecules which can pass or which cannot pass the membrane. Okay, so this is the structure of the plasma membrane. So at firstly, the plasma membrane is semi-permeable, and next the plasma membrane is selectively permeable. As usual, they select some molecules to certain needs of cell, and they can pass some molecules. And number 3 is cell membrane is amphipathic molecules. Okay, so that is, they consist of hydrophobic head, and this is the hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. Okay, that is, the head region is polar and the tail region is non-polar. Okay, so this is the entire structure of the plasma membrane. In the next video, we will talk about various models proposed by the scientists on the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. That what is the structure of the plasma membrane actually. Various scientists proposed, like Danieli, Dapson, and after that Robertson, and at the last proposed theory was the fluid mosaic model. This was proposed by the Singer and Nicholson, and this theory was too much accepted by the biologists according to the cell membrane. So if you like this video, then please subscribe to my channel for getting updates of the more videos. So stay happy and keep learning.